Session 10. Navigating AI concerns. That image on the screen is not an accident. In many ways, the entire business world is in a collective therapy session about artificial intelligence. We hear the incredible breakthroughs, but we also feel a deep, underlying anxiety. My goal today is not to dismiss those concerns, but to bring them into the light. We are going to dissect them, understand them, and most importantly, chart a strategic path forward. This is not just about fear, it is about navigation, and it is especially about what this all means for us, here in the Philippines. Before we dive into the global anxieties, let us ground ourselves in our local reality. We are here, in the Philippines, at a critical and exciting moment. AI is no longer a Silicon Valley problem or a futuristic fantasy. It is right here, and it is already shaping our economy. This session is about setting the stage, getting a clear picture of what AI adoption looks like for our businesses, our workforce, and our national strategy. First, let us make sure we are all speaking the same language. We hear these terms thrown around constantly, often interchangeably. It is impossible to have a strategic business discussion if we are all using different definitions. So, let us quickly define them in a simple, practical way. Artificial intelligence, AI. This is the big, broad, umbrella term. It is the goal or the idea, going all the way back to the 1950s, of creating computer systems that can perform tasks that normally require human intelligence. This is a massive category. Making a decision, understanding speech, recognizing a face in a photo, or planning a delivery route. All of these fall under the broad concept of AI. When a CEO says we are investing in AI, they are talking about this general capability. Machine learning, ML. This is the primary method we use today to achieve AI. Think of it this way. In old-school programming, a human had to write millions of explicit if-then rules for every possibility. For example, if the user clicks buy, then show thank you. You cannot write enough rules to understand human language or identify a cat in a video. So, machine learning flips the script. Instead of writing rules, we feed the machine vast amounts of data, examples, and let it learn the patterns on its own. It writes its own rules by finding correlations we could never see. When you see a Netflix recommendation, that is ML. It is not AI in the human consciousness sense. It is a very powerful pattern matching engine. Deep learning. This is a more advanced, complex subset of machine learning. It is where the most dramatic breakthroughs of the last decade have come from. Deep learning uses structures called neural networks, which are loosely modeled on the interconnected neurons in the human brain. Because these networks have many layers, they are deep. This depth allows them to process incredibly complex, unstructured data like raw audio, video, and text. The technology behind ChatGPT, DALL-E 2, and sophisticated medical scan analysis is deep learning. It is the engine driving this current, massive wave of generative AI. So, here is your simple takeaway for your next board meeting. If AI is the car, machine learning is the engine that makes it run. And deep learning is a specific type of high-performance, Formula One engine. Understanding this distinction is critical. When you, as a leader, are asked to approve an AI project, you can now ask the right questions. Is this a simple machine learning model for forecasting, or is this a complex deep learning project that will require massive data and computing power? Knowing the difference is the first step in managing the hype and focusing on real-world value. So, why is this conversation happening with such urgency right now? Because this is not a gradual, academic change anymore. It is a full-on global race. The ASEAN region, in particular, is an absolute hotspot for AI adoption. Why? We have two key ingredients. First, one of the youngest, most digitally native populations on the planet. We skipped the landline and desktop era and went straight to mobile. Second, as a direct result, We have a booming e-commerce and digital services economy that generates an unimaginable amount of data every single day. And as we just learned, data is the food for machine learning. Because of this, every single country in our region, Singapore, Vietnam, Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, is scrambling to develop and publish a national AI strategy. They are in an open, public race to capture the immense economic value this transformation promises. They are competing for investment, for talent, and for technological leadership. In this context, the Philippines cannot afford to be passive. Our national competitiveness for the next 50 years is at stake. The question for us is no longer if we will adopt AI. The question is how fast we can build our strategy, how well we can integrate these tools to compete with our neighbors, and how thoughtfully we can manage the massive workforce transition that comes with it. This is not a Silicon Valley problem. It is an ASEAN problem. It is a Philippine problem. And it is a right now problem. The pressure to adopt, to innovate, and to regulate is coming from all sides, globally and, most intensely, regionally. We are in a race, whether we have officially joined the starting line or not. It is not theoretical anymore. This is happening right now, in our key sectors. In the BPO sector, a cornerstone of our economy, AI chatbots and robotic process automation, RPA, are already being integrated to handle customer queries and automate back-office tasks. In fintech, our banks and e-wallets are using AI for real-time fraud detection, more accurate credit scoring for the unbanked, and creating those personalized banking apps we all use. Retailers are using AI to optimize their complex supply chains and deliver the personalized marketing you see on Shopee and Lazada. Even the government is actively exploring AI to improve public services and efficiency. So, why are you in this room today? Because you are the leaders, the managers, the strategists, and the decision makers. You are the ones who will be making the critical calls. What AI tools do we adopt? How do we manage the transition of our teams? How do we navigate the new regulations that are surely coming? Understanding these opportunities and concerns is not just an IT problem. It is a core business strategy decision. Your decisions over the next few years will determine whether your company thrives, stagnates, or gets left behind. Which brings us to the central question of our session. The question is no longer if AI will impact Philippine business. It absolutely will. The question is how. How do we balance the immense benefits, like efficiency, new products, and data-driven insights, against the very real risks, like job displacement and bias? This is the strategic tightrope we all have to walk. So, let us not shy away from the hard part. It is easy to stand up here and talk about all the exciting, futuristic opportunities. But that is not why we are here. We are here to address the very real, very valid concerns that keep leaders and employees up at night. For the next section of this presentation, I am going to intentionally not be a tech evangelist. I am going to be a business realist. We are going to put the anxiety on the table and look at it squarely. We are going to talk about the fear. We are going to talk about job security. We are going to talk about what happens when a technology threatens to automate not just blue-collar work, but the white-collar, knowledge-based work that many of us in this room, and in our teams, do. This is a deep dive into the challenges. And the reason we do this is simple. You cannot build a successful AI strategy on a foundation of unaddressed, unspoken fear. You have to name the challenges before you can navigate them. So, let us get into it. What is the number one, global, gut-level fear that comes up in every single conversation about AI? The one question that echoes from factory floors to boardrooms: will AI take away my job? This is the automation anxiety. And it is not just a vague, futuristic fear. It is pervasive, and it is rational. Employees are seeing the tools on the news. They are seeing what ChatGPT can write. They are seeing what Midjourney can design. And they are connecting the dots. This anxiety leads to the fear of business redundancy. This is the cold, hard, strategic term for an employee looking at their daily tasks, whether it is writing reports, analyzing spreadsheets, or answering customer emails, and realizing that an AI can now do a significant portion of that work, faster and cheaper. And unlike past technological shifts, like the tractor or the personal computer, this one feels different. It is not just automating physical labor or clerical labor, it is automating cognitive labor, and it is doing it at a speed we have never seen before. That is the immediate impact. This is not a 20-year transition. We are seeing roles and entire workflows being fundamentally re-evaluated in a matter of months. When a new AI model is released, its capabilities are adopted by millions of people in a week. This speed is what makes the anxiety so acute. So, as leaders, we have to treat this concern with respect. We cannot dismiss it as fear-mongering. It is the most critical and human barrier to adoption. If your team is terrified, they will not innovate. They will not experiment. They will resist. Our first job as leaders is not to be AI experts. It is to be anxiety managers. And that starts by being precise about what is actually happening. This is the single most important concept I want you to take away today. When we talk about job loss, we, as managers, need to be far more precise with our language. It is not a simple binary of you have a job or you do not have one. The reality is a spectrum, and the two key terms are displacement and augmentation. Displacement. This is what everyone fears. This is the classic automation scenario. An AI or a robot is implemented, and it completely replaces the human role. The person is now redundant. This does happen, and we should be honest about it. It happens most often in roles that are 100% repetitive, predictable, and rule-based. For example, a role that is just about retyping data from one form into another. Augmentation. This is the other end of the spectrum, and it is far more common. This is the co-pilot scenario. The AI assists a person, rather than replacing them. It augments their intelligence and capabilities. Think of a graphic designer. 10 years ago, they spent 80% of their time pushing pixels in Photoshop. Today, an AI can generate 10 design concepts in 30 seconds. Does this displace the designer? No, it augments them. The designer is now freed from the manual labor and can spend 80% of their time on the human skills. Strategy, brand alignment, client communication, and creative direction. The AI handles the how. The human focuses on the why. The same applies to a financial analyst. The AI can analyze the 10K reports and find the anomalies, but the human analyst tells the story of why it matters. The AI handles the data. The human provides the judgment. Our goal as leaders should be to aim for augmentation wherever possible. Do not just look for roles to cut. Look for tasks to automate. Look for ways to free your people from the repetitive, low-value work so they can focus on the high-value, human-centric, strategic work that AI cannot touch. This is the strategic choice in front of all of us. Do we use AI as a replacement tool, or as an augmentation tool? The answer will define our companies and our culture for the next decade. So, let us look at this in practice. Which roles are most exposed to displacement or significant augmentation? This is not just a global phenomenon. This is highly specific to the Philippine economy. Let us be blunt about the sectors feeling this pressure most acutely. We have to start here, the BPO sector. It is a cornerstone of our economy, employing over 1 million Pinoys. But the roles that are most vulnerable to AI are the ones we have built our BPO strength on: high volume, script-based customer care and back-office data processing. AI chatbots are now handling Tier 1 support for many global companies. Robotic process automation, RPA, is automating data entry and form processing far faster and more accurately than a human can. This is not a future threat. It is a current quarter business reality for every BPO leader. The challenge for the industry is not just to cut costs. It is to move the entire workforce up the value chain, from being call takers to becoming complex problem solvers, data labelers, and AI managers. Similarly, our IT offshoring industry faces a challenge. Routine tasks like basic L1, L2 IT support, server monitoring, and even simple, repetitive coding are now being handled by AI. We are seeing AI tools that can write boilerplate code, test for bugs, and even optimize database queries. This means the automation mentioned on the slide is making the low-level, high-volume work redundant. The opportunity, again, is to shift our workforce from doing the basic IT tasks to managing the complex cloud systems and cybersecurity frameworks that run the AI. This slide really just doubles down on the BPO point, but it is worth its own focus because it affects every company, not just BPOs. Think about your own internal or local customer support teams. The future of a role that is based on answering predictable questions is uncertain. When an AI can access a customer's entire history, analyze their sentiment, and provide a, mostly, accurate answer in seconds, the human in the loop becomes an escalation point, not the first line of defense. This is a profound shift in how we structure our customer service departments. Now, a lot of people used to think automation would only affect entry-level or manual roles. This slide proves that is not true. This is a white-collar, high-skill role. The administrative part of project management, tracking hours, updating Gantt charts, sending reminders, and writing status reports, is being rapidly automated. AI can now look at all the team's data and give a manager a perfect, real-time summary. So, what is left for the project manager? The human part. Mentorship, unblocking complex political roadblocks, client negotiation, and strategic alignment. The job scope is shrinking, which means the project manager's skills must deepen into leadership. This is a big one for the creative industry. For decades, you needed a skilled graphic designer and an expensive software license to create a logo, a website mockup, or a marketing banner. Today, autonomous design tools can generate hundreds of options in seconds. This does not mean designers are gone, but the slide is right. It makes them less essential for the basic, low-level work. The role of a designer is shifting from being a pixel pusher to becoming a creative director or a visual strategist. They are no longer just using the tools. They are prompting and curating the output of AI tools, which is a very different skill set. The advertising industry is being hit on all sides. First, automated analytics and micro-targeting, which have been around for a while. But now, generative AI is coming for the creative side. It can write advertisement copy. It can generate images and videos. It can A/B test thousands of combinations of text and visuals in real time. This combination of predictive analytics and automated content creation makes the traditional ad agency model, and the roles within it, extremely vulnerable. The value is no longer in making the ad. It is in the high-level strategy and brand building that the AI cannot replicate. This is one of the most surprising for many people. For years, big consulting firms charged massive fees because they had a proprietary black box, a combination of smart people, case studies, and data. They would come in, analyze your business, and produce an insight. But now, AI models can be trained on all public business data, all financial reports, all market trends. They can analyze your company's internal data and generate sophisticated strategic insights in an afternoon. The proprietary nature of insights is being eroded. This is a massive redundancy risk for consultants who are just smart analysts. The ones who will survive are those who can be true trusted advisors, the ones who can help a CEO navigate the human and political challenges of implementing the strategy that AI suggests. This slide is simply titled, Managers, and it is a follow-on to the Project Manager slide. Any manager whose primary job is to monitor and report on their team's productivity is at risk. AI-powered tools, especially in remote work environments, can track activity, measure output, and summarize performance far more efficiently than a human supervisor. This is a direct threat to the middle manager layer. The new role of a manager must be about coaching, development, and inspiration, the parts of leadership that build culture, not just a report. Finally, let us not forget the physical world. While we have been talking about knowledge work, AI is also the brain for robots and autonomous vehicles. In logistics and supply chain, from the warehouse that is automated pick and pack, to the road that is implying to self-driving trucks. Automation poses a direct, long-term danger to millions of driver and logistics jobs. This is a massive societal and economic challenge that we, as a nation reliant on logistics, will have to face. The key takeaway from this section, from the BPO agent to the management consultant, is that no one is immune. The impact is being felt from manual labor all the way up to high-level knowledge work. This is a fundamental shift. This is a pivotal point in this session, moving from fear to opportunity. Okay, that was doom and gloom till now in this session. It is very easy to get stuck there, in that anxiety. But for every single one of these challenges, there is a massive business opportunity on the other side. The old models of business fulfillment are breaking down. This means we need new players to fill the gaps. As old, manual back offices get automated, new back offices will emerge, ones that manage the AI, that clean the data, that handle the complex exceptions the AI cannot. And all this AI runs on data. Massive amounts of data. This requires a boom in data centers and, more importantly, the infrastructure expertise to build and manage them. This is a huge physical and technical opportunity right here in the Philippines. In the classic SME context, fulfillment was physical and human heavy. You hire more staff to answer Facebook inquiries. You guess inventory needs based on last year's Christmas season. You rely on a patronage system that is hard to scale. AI agents can now handle 10,000 inquiries simultaneously in Taglish. Predictive AI knows a typhoon is coming and adjusts stock levels for rice or plywood 48 hours in advance. As a result, the middleman who only moved information such as the broker, the dispatcher, the simple reseller, is being erased. Because the old intermediaries are dying, new infrastructure players are emerging. These are not necessarily giant corporations. Many are agile SMEs offering services to other SMEs. Global AI like ChatGPT does not know that traffic in Pasig is different from traffic in Makati on a Friday payday. So smaller, nimble, localized players have much of the market to themselves. Global LLMs remain infrastructure. Let's take an example. A logistics platform that uses AI to route deliveries specifically for Metro Manila's unpredictable road conditions, offering typhoon-proof fulfillment assurances, can offer Amazon-level logistics without Amazon-level CapEx if they can be equipped. The AI for MSME provider. Building cheap, subscription-based AI tools specifically for Filipino contexts is important. An AI inventory tool for sari-sari stores that suggests what to restock based on local neighborhood buying patterns has a big potential. For instance, it is Fiesta Week, stock more soft drinks. This is non-scalable advantage for an SME tech company. Instead of hiring a BPO to answer calls, SMEs will hire agencies to train and manage the AI agents that answer the calls. If you run a service business, your fulfillment model shifts from staffing up to tuning up. You need fewer entry-level support staff and more customer success managers who handle the complex cases the AI cannot solve. New fintech players are using AI to analyze your digital footprint such as Gcash transactions, Shopee seller rating, social media engagement and so on, to assess creditworthiness. Digitalize your cash flow immediately. If your transactions are offline, you are invisible to the AI algorithms that will determine your future access to capital. Use AI for the back office so that your humans are free to do the front office. Do not use AI to replace your customer-facing staff. Use AI to remove their admin work so they can spend all their time making customers feel special. This premium human touch will be your main differentiator against automated giants. For Philippine SMEs, the opportunity lies in becoming part of the data center supply chain. Data centers are essentially highly specialized industrial warehouses. The primary contractors subcontract specific tasks. Opportunities include specialized civil works, cabling installation, fire suppression system piping, and raised flooring installation. SMEs can obtain licenses for such work. Data centers require distinct maintenance protocols compared to standard office buildings. Opportunities include technical cleaning services such as cleaning server racks, underfloor plenums, and overhead cable trays without disrupting static electricity. Then, there is the training of staff for certification. Most general janitorial agencies cannot touch a data center floor. Catering and transport services need to be provided for data center staff who work shifts in often remote economic zones. Then there is HVAC, maintenance for precision cooling units, water treatment for cooling towers, and installation of solar panels for auxiliary office power. Some companies may wish to partner with global cooling brands like Vertiv or Schneider Electric to become an authorized local service partner. Secure logistics for moving high-value servers from ports and airports to the site, which requires GPS-tracked, climate-controlled trucks. When servers are retired, they must be wiped of data and recycled responsibly. This is a massive impending market. Acquire DENR accreditations for e-waste handling and data destruction certifications. Data engineering and knowledge skills needed include Pandas and NumPy for data manipulation. There is a need for LangChain or Llama Index for building pipelines that feed large language models or LLMs. Experience with MongoDB or Cassandra is critical because AI data such as logs, chats, images rarely fits into neat rows and columns. Cloud expertise is critical. In AWS, that is Glue, EMR, Kinesis. In GCP, it is BigQuery and Dataflow. In Azure, it is Data Factory and Synapse. Experience with Pinecone, Weaviate, Milvus, or pgvector is a massive plus right now for building RAG or retrieval augmented generation systems. Building pipelines that can ingest audio files, pass them to a speech-to-text API like OpenAI Whisper or Google Speech-to-Text, and store the text output efficiently, are important for the BPO and creative industries. We should also mention Kafka, Flink, low-latency API, graph databases, NLP pipelines and data warehousing. Any expertise in SQL, Databricks and Snowflake turns out to be very useful. It might help to consider taking the following steps. 1. Solidify SQL and Python. Do not jump to AI until you can clean a messy CSV with Python blindfolded. 2. Learn a cloud platform. 3. Build an end-to-end AI project. Let's look at a very simple project. Scrape job postings from a PH job site, store them in a database, use an LLM to extract skills required, and save the results to a clean table. LangChain, Llama Index, OpenAI API, Hugging Face are all important for coders in AI engineering. BPOs are aggressively automating customer support. They need devs who can build smart agents that do not hallucinate. Docker, Kubernetes and Terraform are important for those into cloud and DevOps. As banks, fintechs and large institutions move their assets and operations to the cloud and try to become AI ready, a new generation of infrastructural and DevOps experts will be needed. As companies adopt microservices, the ability to make different apps talk to each other efficiently is critical. This needs expertise in GraphQL, gRPC, Fast API. AWS Certified Solutions Architect, Microsoft Certified, Azure Fundamentals and Google Cloud Associate Cloud Engineer are all certifications that are important. Tech firms who are into the certifications business should ensure that they partner with the large companies to enable the certifications examination and processing. For professionals, the criticality is obvious. The following is a list of new categories of workers and entrepreneurs who are emerging in the wake of AI. Data annotators and labelers. These are no longer just low-skill roles. We now see a demand for expert annotators such as lawyers labeling legal contracts, doctors labeling X-rays to ensure high-quality training data. This is called RLHF or reinforcement learning from human feedback. AI trainers. They interact with an AI to spot flaws. For example, an AI trainer might spend all day trying to trick a customer service bot into being rude, then correcting it when it fails. Conversational AI designer. They write the scripts and define the personality of the AI. Is the bot sassy, formal, empathetic? They design the persona so it aligns with the brand. AI interaction designer. The role of prompt engineer is evolving. It is shifting into a broader design role that involves setting up the entire system of prompts that guides an AI agent's behavior and decision-making process. AI ethicists and AI auditors. They act like financial auditors but for algorithms. They test models for bias. For instance, does a loan approval AI reject women more often? They also check learning models and apps for user safety before the model is released. AI workforce manager. Instead of managing 10 humans, this person manages 2 humans and 50 AI agents. Their job is to assign tasks to the AI, review the work and step in when the AI gets stuck. For businesses which are into training, manpower development and certification, the new business requirements can be an exciting frontier. For individual professionals, on the other side of the table, there is this urgency from industry to be up to speed with the qualifications. For generations, the social contract of employment was relatively stable. Acquire a specialized skill, perform it reliably, and retain your value in the marketplace. Technological disruptions, from the assembly line to the personal computer, have historically targeted routine manual labor, pushing the workforce toward more cognitive, human tasks. However, the emergence of generative AI, GenAI, has shattered this paradigm. Unlike its predecessors, GenAI does not merely automate muscle, it automates thought. For traditional employees, particularly those in white-collar and creative sectors, this represents a profound source of anxiety. The concern is not merely about mass unemployment, but about a fundamental restructuring of professional identity, the obsolescence of hard-earned expertise, and the psychological toll of collaborating with a machine that is rapidly learning to perform one's job. The primary reason GenAI is a concern for traditional employees is that it targets the very safe harbors workers were told to retreat to. For decades, the advice was to avoid manual labor and move into the knowledge economy, law, coding, copywriting, analysis, and administration. GenAI, however, excels precisely in these areas. It can draft a contract, debug code, synthesize a marketing report, or handle customer service inquiries in seconds. This creates a crisis of value for traditional employees whose roles are defined by these cognitive outputs. A graphic designer who spent years mastering technical tools now competes with software that generates images from simple text prompts. A junior legal associate whose value lay in document review finds that an algorithm can pass thousands of pages instantly. The concern here is the commoditization of intelligence. When good enough cognitive work becomes cheap and abundant, the premium on human expertise diminishes, threatening wages and job security for the middle class. While the narrative often swings between AI will replace everyone and AI will help everyone, the reality is likely a hollow middle. High-level experts will leverage AI to become hyper-productive, and lower-wage roles requiring physical dexterity such as plumbers, electricians, care workers, will remain safe for now. It is the traditional middle-tier employee, the administrator, the mid-level manager, the translator, the entry-level coder, who faces the greatest risk. Employers are increasingly viewing GenAI not just as a tool for augmentation, but as a replacement for entry-level roles. If an AI can generate the first draft of a report or code, the need for junior staff to do the grunt work evaporates. This severs the traditional apprenticeship model where employees learn by doing simple tasks, raising a critical concern. If the bottom rung of the career ladder is automated, how does the next generation of experts develop? Beyond the economic mechanics, there is a deeply personal and psychological dimension to this concern. AI anxiety is becoming a tangible workplace phenomenon. Employees are currently being asked to train the very systems that might replace them, correcting chatbot answers, labeling data, or feeding proprietary knowledge into models. This creates a sense of participating in one's own obsolescence. Furthermore, GenAI threatens human agency and the sense of purpose derived from work. When a machine produces a strategy document or a piece of art, the human role shifts from creator to editor or verifier. For many, this loss of creative ownership leads to alienation. The fear is not just losing a paycheck, but losing the satisfaction of saying, "I built this," replaced by the hollow reality of "I prompted this." Finally, the concern is driven by the sheer velocity of change. Traditional upskilling life cycles were measured in years. An accountant might need to learn new tax software once a decade. GenAI evolves weekly. The demand to constantly learn new prompt engineering techniques or adapt to new model capabilities creates a state of perpetual beta, where employees feel they can never settle or master their craft. This AI divide threatens to leave behind older workers or those less digitally native, who may possess immense institutional wisdom but struggle to adapt to an AI-first workflow. Generative AI is a concern for traditional employees because it changes the rules of the game while the game is still being played. It challenges the idea that cognitive skills are a permanent shield against automation and forces a re-evaluation of what human contribution actually looks like. While the technology promises efficiency and economic growth, for the individual worker, it promises a turbulent transition where adaptability is the only job security, and the definition of work is rewritten in real time. The challenge for society is not just technological integration, but ensuring that in the race for efficiency, we do not discard the human dignity and stability that traditional employment provides. The most immediate threat from general AI to the consultancy business is financial. Consulting firms make their profit margin on junior employees. What is the old way? A firm bills a junior analyst to the client at $400 an hour. That analyst spends 100 hours summarizing industry reports and formatting slides. The firm makes huge profit on the spread between the billing rate and the analyst's salary. The AI reality is that general AI can summarize those reports and build those slides in seconds. Clients are becoming savvy. They will refuse to pay for research hours that they know AI can do for free. Firms are being forced to shift to outcome-based pricing, which is much riskier. Consultants used to sell access to knowledge. They knew industry benchmarks that you did not. Today, a client can upload their own annual reports and competitor data into a private LLM and ask questions. The AI can provide an answer that is almost as good as a junior consultant's first draft. Generalist advice is becoming demonetized. If a consultant cannot offer deep, hyper-specialized human insight that an AI cannot replicate, they have no product to sell. Now, if AI does the grind, junior consultants never get the practice. They skip the learning phase. In a decade, there may be no capable senior partners because the current generation of juniors became prompt editors instead of critical thinkers. They never learned the deep logic behind the slides. Large clients often have more data than the consultants do, but they lack the tools to analyze it. Now a bank's internal data science team can build an agent that analyzes the churn continuously. The external consultant is cut out of the loop permanently. Instead of paying for a 3-month project to analyze supply chain risks, a client pays a monthly subscription to access the consultancy's supply chain nerve center, which is a pre-built AI dashboard that monitors risks round the clock. It decouples revenue from headcount. The firm makes money even while its consultants are sleeping. Create AI flight simulators. Simulated projects where juniors practice on synthetic data to build judgment skills that they can no longer learn on the job. Consultancies have realized that their only true competitive advantage is their proprietary data. They are building walled garden AI tools that no one else can access. BCG has Gene and Dexter. Gene handles research. Dexter is specifically designed to generate and format PowerPoint slides automatically from rough notes. Bain has Sage. Powered by OpenAI, it integrates proprietary Bain strategy frameworks to help partners draft initial strategy hypotheses. Most enterprises are sitting on frozen data trapped in legacy systems such as SAP, Oracle, mainframes that modern LLMs cannot natively access. You cannot simply plug ChatGPT into a 20-year-old stack. GenAI models are stateless and speak natural language. Enterprise systems are stateful and speak SQL, JSON, or SOA. Integration specialists build the connectors, often using RAG or agentic frameworks, that allow the AI to safely query internal data, perform an action, and return a result without breaking the system. Here are the core steps to be aware of. RAG pipeline construction means building the architecture that fetches live data and feeding it to the AI before it answers, preventing hallucinations. Vector database integration means managing the storage of unstructured enterprise knowledge such as PDFs, wikis, emails, in vector databases like Pinecone or Milvus, so the AI can remember key requirements such as company policies. Next comes designing agents that can use tools. Instead of just answering a question, the AI is given permission to execute specific API calls such as create a Jira ticket or refund this user. Guardrails refer to the middleware that catches AI output before it reaches the user to check for PII leaks, toxic language, or hallucinated URLs. The tech stack is made up of Python and JavaScript, ETL pipelines, SQL, and understanding of vector embeddings and API protocols. There is a need to be aware of model hubs such as Hugging Face and Azure OpenAI in case models need to be swapped. A language data architect designs how data is fed to the AI. You decide if a 500-page manual should be split by paragraph or by topic, also known as chunking strategy, so the AI understands context. A conversational architect does not write copy. He or she writes the logic, which is the personality of an agent. AI is great at English or Spanish, but terrible at Cebuano, Ilocano, or Visayan. You are hired to build the first high-quality datasets for these languages. Unlike coding prompt engineers, you use your knowledge of syntax and semantics to write prompts that force the AI to adopt a specific style. What happens when the AI misunderstands? Linguists design the repair paths, using principles from conversation analysis to help the agent recover gracefully without frustrating the user. Designing the AI voice. Should it use high-context polite language for Japanese users or low-context direct language for Dutch users? Linguists write the system prompts that control these sociolinguistic dials. Companies hire linguists to break their models before they are released. Adversarial linguistics. You try to trick the model into saying something harmful. A linguist knows how to use syntactic ambiguity or code switching, for example, mixing Tagalog and English to bypass the model's safety filters. Sociolinguistic bias check. Auditing whether the AI unfairly downgrades text written in African American vernacular English or Philippine English compared to standard English. You can improve an ASH conciseness by explicitly instructing it to follow speech theory inputs such as the maxim of quantity, which is be as informative as required, but not more. You tag user inputs as requests, commands, or declarations so the AI knows when to take action compared to when to just answer a question. The AI Gravure photobook boom. This is currently the most accessible revenue stream for individual Japanese creators. Gravure or glamour modeling is a massive industry in Japan, and AI has created a sub-market for digital idols. Creators use Stable Diffusion, often fine-tuned on Asian model LoRa's, to generate consistent, realistic AI models. They publish these collections as ebooks on Amazon Kindle Direct Publishing or KDP. Unlike human models who need a photo shoot, AI creators release a new 50-page photobook every week. They do not rely on individual sales. Instead, they aim for page reads via Kindle Unlimited. Because these books are image-heavy, users flip through them quickly, generating consistent royalties based on pages read. Here, Amazon requires you to tag content as AI-generated. Failure to do so leads to account bans. DL Site and Fantia are the giants for selling fanworks or doujinshi, voice packs, and CG art. Japan has a unique marketplace called Ko-Font, which allows creators and regular people to monetize their actual voice using AI. It allows voice actors to earn passive income from low-budget projects they would not normally have time to record personally. Your voice becomes available on the Ko-Font marketplace. If a YouTuber, game developer, or company uses your AI voice for their project, you get paid a royalty. Japanese technical creators are building VTubers powered by LLMs like GPT-4 that can read chat and respond in real time. Unlike a human VTuber who gets tired after a few hours, an AI VTuber can stream endlessly, maximizing the window for donations. For professional manga artists and studios, AI is not the product, it is the assistant. Creators use AI to generate complex backgrounds like classrooms, city streets, etc. from rough sketches. This saves the cost of hiring a background assistant, which is usually quite expensive. The vertical scroll comic market of webtoons requires full color panels, which is labor-intensive. Creators use AI to auto-color their line art, allowing them to produce weekly chapters without burning out. By leveraging platforms that allow for direct ownership of audience relationships, like newsletters, private discords, or membership sites, creators can build sustainable businesses that rely on trust rather than algorithms. In this model, the creative work serves as a gathering point for like-minded people, and the creator's income is derived from facilitating the connection. A writer might sell a subscription not just for their essays, but for the thoughtful comment section and book club they curate. A musician might offer backstage access and songwriting workshops. These high-touch, human-centric services are immune to non-stop automation because their value is derived specifically from human interaction. Japan has a unique AI economy because its copyright laws are looser regarding AI training than in the West, but its payment platforms are stricter about AI sales. Here is how Japanese creators are navigating this landscape to generate profit in 2025. The arrival of generative AI has triggered an existential crisis for the creative class. For centuries, artists, writers, and musicians operated under the assumption that human creativity was a unique, unreplicable spark. Today, that assumption is being dismantled by algorithms capable of generating a symphony, a sonnet, or a surrealist painting in seconds. The anxiety is palpable. If a machine can produce good enough creative work at near zero cost, what is left for the human professional? The answer lies not in fighting the tide of technology with Luddite resistance, but in strategically redefining the value of creative labor. To protect their profession, creators must build a multifaceted defense that combines legal assertiveness, technological safeguards, and, most importantly, a pivot toward business models where human connection, process, and authenticity are the primary products. The immediate battleground is legal and technical. For too long, the internet has been treated as a free buffet for data scrapers. Creators must now aggressively assert their digital sovereignty. Simultaneously, the legal framework must evolve. The ultimate goal is a systemic shift where data dignity, the right to own and control one's digital output, is a codified human right. We are entering a process economy. In a world flooded with instant, synthetic content, the human story behind a work of art becomes its premium feature. A generative AI can create a beautiful image of a mountain, but it cannot tell you about the cold wind the photographer felt, the weeks of hiking it took to get there, or the emotional resonance of that specific sunrise. Creators can protect their profession by monetizing this journey. This means moving away from selling just the final asset, which AI can commoditize, to selling the experience of creation. Live streaming the painting process, sharing the messy first drafts of a novel, or building a narrative around the struggle of composition creates a moat of authenticity that AI cannot cross. Audiences are not just buying art, they are buying a connection to the artist's humanity. Small creative shops in Hollywood do not rely on a single tool like ChatGPT or Midjourney. They build custom pipelines, often using Comfy UI. Comfy UI is a node-based interface that allows artists to chain different AI models together. An artist sketches a rough stick figure drawing of a scene. ControlNet, which is an AI adapter, forces the AI to respect the exact composition of that sketch. Stable Diffusion generates the photorealistic texture on top of the sketch. The artist manually paints over errors in Photoshop. This is an example of human in the loop. The image is fed back into the AI to blend the manual fixes. It gives the shop controllability. Big studios need pixel-perfect control. Hybrid pipelines allow small shops to get 90% there with AI and use human talent for the final 10%. Before a single camera rolls, small shops are using AI to sell the vision to Netflix or Amazon. Instead of using stock footage to pitch a movie tone, small shops use Midjourney and Runway Gen 3 to create a custom 2-minute trailer of a movie that has not been shot yet. This allows indie filmmakers to win grants and funding by showing a near-final look for no cost. Tools like Filmostage break down a script automatically and suggest shot lists. Artists then generate 3D consistent characters for every panel, allowing a director to watch their movie in comic book form before hiring actors. Traditional VFX requires separate teams for modeling, rigging, lighting, and compositing. Small shops use AI to collapse these roles. Automated rotoscoping or cutting an actor out of a background used to take weeks of manual clicking. Small shops use Magic Mask tools in DaVinci Resolve or After Effects or Wonder Dynamics to automatically isolate actors. This frees up the budget to spend on hero shots. Background generation. Instead of building a 3D city from scratch, which takes months, they use 2.5D workflows. They generate a panoramic city image with AI, project it onto simple 3D geometry in Blender, and add camera movement. It looks 3D but costs the price of a 2D image. Style transfer. Small shops film actors in cheap costumes against a green screen. They then use style transfer via Stable Diffusion to repaint every frame to look like anime, claymation, or watercolor. This allows a 3-person team to create an animated film without hiring animators. Previously, de-aging an actor like in The Irishman cost millions. Small shops now offer this as a standard service using open-source tools. Face swapping. Shops use tools like Roop or Custom Loris, low-rank adaptations, to fix a stunt double's face. If a stuntman performs a jump, the shop uses AI to paste the lead actor's face onto the stuntman in post-production seamlessly. For international distribution, small shops use tools like 11 Labs and HeyGen to not only dub the audio into French or Spanish, but also change the actor's lip movements to match the new language, a service previously impossible for indie budgets. So, let us bring it all together. This is your key takeaway. This is your action plan. We have discussed 3 change variables. Here are your responses, whether you are a professional or a business owner. 1. For automation anxiety. As a professional, your response is to train. Constantly prepare, upskill, and re-examine your personal relevance. See how your skills fit the new job descriptions we discussed. As a business owner, your response is communication. Talk to your employees. Be transparent. Discuss this openly and plan your workforce training with them. 2. For business redundancy. As a professional, your response is to act. Get a proof of work. Get your hands dirty on an AI-related project, even a small one. Build experience. As a business owner, your response is to find the gaps. Do a strength, weakness, opportunities, threats analysis. Where is your market vulnerable? And where can you use these new tools to exploit an opportunity no one else sees? 3. For the immediate impact. As a professional, your response is to learn. Train, learn, and try the tools. Go on ChatGPT, go on Midjourney, understand what they can do today. As a business owner, your response is speed. Readiness is everything. You must be agile. Make your choices with an eye on economy and, most importantly, the economics of scale. The future is not about displacement. It is about augmentation and adaptation. Let us be the ones to lead it. Thank you. I would be happy to take any questions.
This tea is simply divine this morning.
You should try the Earl Grey. It's absolutely crumbelievable.